Welcome back to the Naturism Life, Harmony and Freedom channel. If you're here, you've probably seen my latest video on the uncomfortable truth of Italy's naturist beaches, a piece of content that has generated over 1,400 views in just a few days and has sparked a much-needed debate on the management of our spaces of freedom. It's a sign of a hunger for truth and clarity. Many of you, looking at those images, have wondered whether this confusion between pure naturism, meeting areas, and cruising is a phenomenon unique to Italy or whether it affects the entire world. The answer is complex and requires careful consideration. Today, let's jump forward. While here in Italy, we're still battling the winter cold, on the other side of the world, summer is in full swing. Many of you write to me asking, where can I go today to experience authentic naturism in the warmth without falling into the usual grey areas? To answer this question, today we're taking a closer look at 5 extraordinary international destinations. We'll apply the same rigorous filter we used for our local beaches. A clear distinction between pure naturism, adult areas, and cruising. We currently have 700 members. The 1,000 mark is just around the corner, and this video is my way of thanking you for your trust and showing you that our community is becoming an international reference point for those seeking transparency. Get your virtual passport ready because we're about to get started. We begin our journey in Brazil, a land that in the collective imagination is synonymous with the joy of living and total physical freedom. But in the world of naturism, Brazil presents a fascinating paradox. There are very few officially legal beaches in the entire country, but those that exist are managed with a rigor and seriousness that we in Europe have almost forgotten. Massarandupiо Beach, located in the state of Bahia, north of Salvador, is our first example of a green zone or pure naturism. To reach this paradise, you have to take a dirt road and then hike through dunes of fine sand and coconut palms swaying in the wind. Why did I choose Massarandupió as my model? Because here, the local Naturist Association has established strict rules that leave no room for interpretation. At the entrance, you'll find a welcome centre with large, clear signs. Taking photographs is absolutely prohibited. You must sit on your own towel for hygiene reasons, and, above all, any behaviour that could be construed as sexual or exhibitionist is prohibited. This rigour creates an atmosphere of incredible respect that is felt as soon as you set foot on the sand. Here, families play volleyball, people read peacefully under the umbrella, and eroticism is totally absent, leaving room for the beauty of the naked body seen as an element of nature. In Massarandupió, there are no shaded areas. No cruising hidden among the vegetation, because community surveillance is constant and respect for the environment is a priority. If you're looking for pure contact with the Atlantic Ocean without distractions, Massarandupió is your ideal destination this winter. From the dunes of Brazil, we fly to the cliffs of Mexico, specifically on the Pacific coast, at Playa Zipolite in the Oaxaca region. Here, the situation becomes more nuanced, and our magnifying glass must become more precise and surgical. Zipolite is historically known as the Beach of Love, a term coined in the 1970s with the arrival of the first hippie movements. It is the only beach in Mexico where nudism is legally tolerated and protected by the authorities. But this very open tolerance has brought with it nuances that we must honestly analyze. The beach is about 1.5 kilometers long, framed by dark rocks and powerful waves. The central area, closest to the restaurants, bars and posadas, is a mixed area where clothed tourists and naturists coexist in a very free but sometimes chaotic atmosphere. If you're looking for true naturism, the kind of silence and a profound connection with the elements, you should head towards the edges. To the west, near the famous Roca Blanca, you'll find a very strong and respectful naturist community. However, moving towards the opposite end, especially towards the small cove called Playa del Amor, the line between naturism and the adult area becomes extremely thin, almost invisible. Here, cruising and outdoor sexual encounters are a well-known and often invasive reality, especially at sunset and in the evening. Zipperlight is a magical place with an incredible energy that captures you, but it is the perfect example of how the lack of clearly defined and patrolled areas can create confusion. For a naturist traveling with family or simply seeking relaxation, laying down a towel in the wrong spot in Zipperlight can mean going from a day of natural ecstasy to a state of profound discomfort in the space of just a few meters. This is a prime example of how necessary our honest mapping is to enjoy the Mexican heat without unpleasant surprises. We change continents and descend to the southernmost tip of Africa, to Cape Town, where the icy waters of the Antarctic meet the warmth of the African sun. This is where Sandy Bay lies. This beach is a fascinating case study in how geography itself can become the best guardian of naturism. Sandy Bay has no direct access roads, no sea view parking or convenient walkways. To get there, you'll have to leave your car in Landudno and walk for about 20 to 30 minutes along a rocky, windy path that runs along the ocean. This physical exertion acts as an impeccable natural filter. As we've seen in my previous videos on Italian beaches, the main problem is often the curious passers-by, or those looking for quick, easy encounters without any effort. At Sandy Bay, this doesn't happen. The public is made up almost exclusively of experienced naturists, athletes, hikers, and local residents who deeply love this stretch of wilderness. The difficulty of access discourages those who aren't truly interested in the naturist philosophy. The result is an immense beach with pure white sand and spectacular granite formations, where respect is the absolute norm, not the exception. Sandy Bay reminds us that sometimes the less accessible and comfortable a beach is, the safer it is for those seeking true freedom of mind. We leave the cliffs of South Africa and cross the Atlantic again to return to South America, but this time we go much further south than Brazil. We are in Uruguay, in Playa Chihuahua, located near the famous resort of Punta del Este. Why are we here? Because while we in Europe are battling the cold, in Uruguay summer is at its peak, with ideal temperatures and a sun that invites full nudity. Playa Chihuahua is an official naturist beach, recognized by the authorities of the municipality of Maldonado, and is a fascinating example of how a beach can evolve over time. Here, our magnifying glass must be very careful and vigilant. Chihuahua is a visually stunning beach, characterized by a stream that lazily flows into the sea and golden dunes that look like miniature mountains. But its growing international popularity has created an internal divide. On one side, we have the more social area near the Hotel Chihuahua, where the atmosphere is glamorous with music, beach clubs, and a very modern and dynamic naturism. Moving instead towards the mouth of the stream and beyond the first dunes, we enter the green zone, where silence reigns and connection with the environment is a priority. However, let's be honest, you just have to go into the highest and most hidden dunes to come across what we call the adult or cruising area. In Uruguay, cruising is not a social taboo like in other places, but for those who are simply looking for a full tan and peace of mind, knowing exactly where the social beach ends and the meeting one begins is essential to maintaining the harmony of the day. Playa Chihuahua teaches us that official beach management doesn't eliminate the diverse spirits that frequent it, but rather allows for civilized coexistence if the codes of conduct are understood. It's the ideal place for those seeking a warm, safe, and well-organized summer, as long as they choose their meter of sand carefully. We conclude our world tour by looking east towards the south of Thailand on the island of Phuket at Mai Khao Beach. Here we enter an extremely complex and delicate territory, where our magnifying glass serves to protect not only ourselves, but also the local culture. Thailand is a country of incredible contrasts. On the one hand, there is a world-famous transgressive nightlife. On the other, the local culture is deeply prudish, conservative, and respectful when it comes to public nudity. Going naturist in Mai Khao requires a certain sensitivity. There are no legal naturist beaches in Thailand, but Mai Khao is such a long, isolated and wild stretch of sand that in some stretches away from the luxury resorts, it's possible to experience your own freedom. However, the risk of misunderstanding is very high here. Many tourists confuse the freedom of vacation areas with the freedom to engage in behaviour that locals find deeply offensive. There are no cruising areas or adult areas organised in Western style, but there is a constant risk of damaging the image of the entire naturist movement if the unwritten boundaries of local decency are not respected. The lesson we learn at Mai Khao is that naturism in 2026 is not just about our bodies, but also about how we relate to the context that hosts us. Being a naturist in Thailand means knowing how to be invisible, discreet, and deeply polite, protecting that small space of freedom that nature grants us without ever invading or disrespecting the spaces and traditions of others. Before I say goodbye, I want to answer a question many viewers often ask me in the comments. Why do you insist so much on distinguishing these areas? Isn't everything freedom? My answer is no. It's not a question of moralism or judgment on other people's choices. It's a question of identity and protection. Naturism, as we understand it on this channel, from skin to mind, is a philosophy of life based on respect for oneself, others, and the surrounding nature. When these different areas, Pure Naturism and areas dedicated to encounters, overlap without rules or information, the first to suffer is the naturist who is simply seeking peace, the family with children, or the young person who is approaching this world for the first time with curiosity and fear. If a person lays out a towel in a cruising area due to pure misinformation, their perception of naturism will be distorted forever, associating nudity with sex and not with freedom. We currently have 700 subscribers, with just 65 more to reach the historic milestone of 1,000, which will allow us to unlock new features on the channel and make our voice heard even more loudly with authorities and associations. This project thrives thanks to your support and your desire for clarity. If you enjoyed this journey around the world and believe that truth and transparency are the foundations for the future of naturism worldwide, subscribe now and activate the bell.